Hi, Alex. Welcome to Birth in Focus. How are you today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, Samantha?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to have you share. I, as a friend, just know little snippets of your journey, and I'm excited to really dive in and have some time to chat about all of it. But before we
Yeah,
jump into all the details, I'd love for you to just kind of tell everybody a little bit about you and about your family.
yeah. Well, my name is Alexandria. I turned 30 this year in a few months. My husband and I have been married for almost 8 years, and we have a 15-month-old, a little over 1-year-old daughter, Olivia. And we just found out we're expecting our second. So I'm about 9 weeks along with baby number
Yay!
two, which is exciting.
So fun.
Yes. Olivia was intentional. We tried for her. I had PCOS, and so it took us a while of getting all that stuff situated to get pregnant with her. And this one was a surprise, which was really nice to be surprised after having to try so hard to have her. So we're feeling very lucky, very blessed. But she has been exclusively breastfed. We've had quite the journey with her. I did not anticipate any of it at all. I just thought breastfeeding was going to be natural and easy, haha. And we've definitely had some struggles and some challenges. It's a journey, that's for sure.
That's so
You can
exciting.
actually hear her.
I totally forgot to ask you before we started if you were gonna like drop the baby number two bomb or not.
Yeah.
So
I
there
went
it
present.
is.
I decided there it is. So if you know me now, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it definitely has played a part into breastfeeding Olivia. And I know a lot of people get really nervous breastfeeding while pregnant. And I'm definitely glad that she's on solid foods and I don't have to worry as much about supply. But it's definitely been an added challenge, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I guess like let's just go ahead and start there, I guess. Like we'll go back and we'll kind of
Yeah.
talk about the beginning of Olivia's journey, but I'd love to really kind of start with that. With the, I guess you are, is it called tandem nursing if you're pregnant, or is it only tandem if you're breastfeeding two babies at once? I don't
That's a
know.
great question.
That's a yeah. I'll look it up and I'll know next time.
I'll look it
So
up.
breastfeeding while pregnant. We'll just go with that. How is that going? What I mean, what were your? I guess so. This baby was a surprise. It wasn't
Mhm.
planned necessarily. So obviously you didn't take the time to wean before pregnancy, nor did you maybe have the time to consider whether or not you would continue to nurse while pregnant. So
Mhm.
I would like, yeah, walk me through that. Tell me kind of
Yeah.
how that went, what, how long it took you to decide, if you decided at all, or if you just kind of went with the flow. Like, tell me all the things.
Um, so it definitely should have been one of my early clues that I was pregnant, and I just didn't catch it. She's teething, and she likes to teeth in clusters. So she'll teeth 2 to 4 teeth at a time. And so what I thought was a more painful latch due to her doing more chewing than
Mm-hmm.
sucking, really was sensitivity due to hormone change due to being pregnant. Um, and yeah, that should have been one of my clues. So we've taught her sign language. I started working on that when she was like 3 to 4 months. And of course, the first one I taught her was milk. And she would nurse and then she would come off the boob and she would ask for water. And so that should have been one of my other clues of like, your supply is dropping, like your baby is coming off the boob from nursing and is asking for a drink. And it's definitely been more challenging in the aspect of like sometimes she'll ask for milk and she'll latch and she'll try to suck on for a little bit and then she'll pop off and she'll go, milk. I'm like, I'm sorry, what's there is what's there. It's been a little bit painful with the more pinchiness. I thought I heard you. Someone woke up from her nap. Um, but when she's going on to latch, sometimes it reminds me of when she was a newborn and we were dealing with really painful latch, the way that it feels, just the extra sensitivity of the nipple. And with her teething, she just wants to nurse all the time. Yeah, she just wants to nurse all the time. And so it's been a mental game again to a mindset of like, I don't want to give it up yet. Like, I don't think that I want to wean her, but also this is uncomfortable. And so sometimes when she asks to nurse, I'll ask her if she wants to drink instead. Like, okay, are we asking to nurse because we want comfort and we want mom? Are we asking to nurse because we're thirsty and we want to drink? Or are we asking to nurse because like you're teething, you have pain, and breast milk has pain relieving qualities, which I've experienced myself. She scratched the inside of my eyelid with her fingernail, and I didn't have any normal eye drops. All I had were like prescription eye drops. And I'm like, this is an open wound. I'm like, well, pediatrician said I could put breast milk in her eyes when she was a baby, so I'll put breast milk in mine. And it actually took the pain away, which was absolutely nuts. And then like a week later, I injured my thumb and I had metal go between my fingernail and my thumb. And like could not get my thumb to stop throbbing, put a drop of breast milk in it, and it went away. So I was like, okay, I've heard that it has like anti-inflammatory, pain relieving qualities, but I've never experienced it until those moments, and I was amazed. I was like, this is really cool. Breast milk is awesome. So sometimes I think she asks to nurse because she knows that it will help relieve the pain that she's experiencing with her teeth, or if she's fallen and bumped her head or whatever. Someone asked me when she was a year old, like, oh, so are you going to wean her now? And I was like, it feels like a superpower. Like, I don't think I'm ready to give up my superpower yet.
Don't do it.
Though.
Yeah. Thanks, though. Love that. Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. I don't think I knew that breast milk had pain relieving qualities. Like, I knew that, it had immune boosting stuff and like antibodies and all of that, but I didn't realize it could help pain too. That's really cool. I had no idea.
I saw an article about it on Facebook, and it was literally the next day that she scratched my eye. And I was like, well,
let's give it a try.
Let's give it a try. Like, let's see what it does.
Yeah, that is so neat. Okay, so she's 15 months old. You're in your first trimester. You're still nursing for the most part, and just kind of going to see how it goes.
Yeah, I have a wonderful team of lactation consultants, and they were like, there's no harm in it, like as long as you're feeling okay. Usually your supply drops in the first trimester and it comes back up in the second trimester. And so they're like, you might go back up to your normal supply once the second trimester hits. And so, hi, do you want to tell everyone hello? Say hi, my name's Olivia and I'm a mama's girl.
Hi, Olivia.
Say hi.
You got too much hair. I love it. Oh, goodness. You're so pretty.
How's your hair? Yeah. You want to hang out with Mama for a minute? We're talking about breastfeeding. Yeah, you're an expert at that now. Yeah. Hi. Did you fall asleep with Mommy and a boob and you woke up without Mommy or a boob? Yeah. She has always fed to sleep. Wasn't necessarily intentional in the beginning. She would just fall asleep on the boob, but then it became like the easiest way to like get her to sleep, and that's what we've always done. It's either yeah, we've always done that, or we drive in the car. Those are the two things that get her to sleep. Or we bounce on the ball. We bounce on the pregnancy ball. And so, yeah, ball. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so let's take it all the way back to the beginning. So when you were pregnant and planning, your birth and all of those things, making all those parenting decisions, what were your thoughts on breastfeeding then? Like, did you do anything particular to prepare? Did you plan to breastfeed at all? What were your thoughts initially about breastfeeding?
So I thought that it was just natural. I had heard so many people, they're like, yeah, the baby latches. It's just easy. I heard so many people say it's just easy. There's a lactation therapist or a lactation consultant that she was in my pelvic floor office. Where I got pelvic floor therapy before pregnancy and during pregnancy. I remember chatting with her, and she's like, well, I do prenatal appointments. And I remember thinking like, well, I don't feel like I have any anatomy challenges from like the research that I've done. I'm not inverted. I'm not flat. Like, I think I'll be fine. In hindsight, I wish I could go back and do a prenatal lactation appointment. That would have that would have helped us know so much sooner that, like, hey, we, one, need an established relationship so somebody knows that we're going to be delivering around this time and we might need help. I didn't even pull I had two pumps. I had two breast pumps, and I hadn't even pulled the stuff out of the box before she was born. And because I had planned to just breastfeed. I was like, we like might do bottles. It really wasn't something I gave enough thought. I gave a lot of thought to the birth and not as much thought to the feeding. And everyone's like, it's just easy, it's natural. Like, your baby will like climb up your body and latch to the boob, and it'll be this magical, perfect puzzle piece. And it was not. So I wish I could go back to 8 to 9 month pregnant me and say, spend the money, book the prenatal lactation consultation, and go through the anatomy and go through, this is how your pump parts work, and these are the types of settings that you'll use on your pump, and these are the things to look for when your baby is born to know that, hey, you need extra help and give me a call. Olivia was born with a flexible, mild lip tie. I think it's a stage 2 lip tie. I don't remember the stage of her tongue tie, but she has a posterior tongue tie. And she had both buccal ties, which I didn't even know were a thing. I'd heard of the lip and the tongue ties, but I'd never heard of the buccal ties. And on top of that, as you know, since you were there, it was a pretty long, intense labor. And I don't think I fully mentally connected that my baby goes through labor what I go through in labor. So as tired as I am, she's going to be tired too. And especially with how long it took me to dilate and how slow I dilated. Like, she came out with a little bit of a cone head, and that can affect it as well. And having those things in mind, like, she would fall asleep while nursing in the beginning. And so it was something that I had to mentally remind myself, like, hey, she's tired. Like, you're tired, she's tired. And you don't think about those things and mentally connect them when you're in that freshly postpartum blur. Yeah. That is those first few days. And so I wish I would have had a lactation consultant while I was pregnant. And I wish I would have had that established relationship of like, hey, this is where I live. This is my due date. If I text you, within a week or so of this date, I need help. Because she was born 2:33 a.m. on a Friday, and we were figuring out that we needed help at like 8 p.m. on a Friday night when everybody's office is closed. We don't have an established relationship with anyone, so we don't have like an on-call number to call. We're just sending emails and leaving voicemails for, consultants and hoping that they're going to look at it outside of office hours. And that was very stressful. She did not latch for the first 2 days. So thankfully I had collected colostrum, and we fed her colostrum in syringes for those first 2 days. And I'm so, so thankful that I was able to collect that colostrum and I had something to feed her. If I would have had a prenatal lactation consultation, it would have clicked in my mind that my baby is not latching and I need to be pumping. The very first IBCLC that came, we took the appointment with the first person that could get to us, and it was, I believe, like Monday morning. So we went from Friday to Monday struggling with trying to feed the baby, and I tried to latch her, and it hurt so bad. I was like, whoever wrote Baby Shark was a breastfeeding mother. Like, had to be a breastfeeding mother because it just hurt so bad. She couldn't hold on with her tongue, and so she was trying to latch with her gums, and that's a very pinchy, painful feeling on top of that's triggering those uterine contractions to help your uterus shrink back to size. It was a lot all at one time. Yeah, it was a lot. But it was actually Sunday, the midwife who came to do our at-home visit, we had told her, like, hey, we can't get her to latch, and we were able to get her to latch with a nipple shield. And so we ended up using a nipple shield. And she told us, she was like, hey, like most lactation consultants, they aren't a huge fan of these, or they want you to use it for a short time. So obviously, like, you need to feed your baby, be latching your baby every time that you can try, but this is what we need to latch your baby, so we're going to use this. Praise the Lord that I had a nipple shield someone had given me. It was not the right size, but I had one. And so we started using that. Of course, Amazon primed one in the right size. Yeah, you want milk. But even next day, Amazon Prime feels like forever when you're trying to feed every 2 hours. When you're doing something every 2 hours, it makes 24 hours feel like forever.
Well, and not
Absolutely
to mention, you've
forever.
you've literally just gone through the hardest thing you'll ever have to do. And yours was not quick. And so, I mean, you, like, literally your world is so upside down. You have this entirely new human you've never met before. You're an entirely different human you've never met before. And your body is, you know, wrecked, for lack of a better term. And now you're the sole, you know, fuel source, feeding source for this entire new human. You haven't slept. Like, I can't imagine. Which is why, like, and I'm a huge advocate for the prenatal lactation consultant situation. I love that for the exact same reasons that you mentioned. Like, it just, if nothing else, it establishes that relationship. Like, you put so much time into building this birth team and making sure that you have everything you want or need for birth and stuff, and you've got all the support you need. But then, yeah, I mean, what happens? I mean, you have the baby, the birth center sends you home, and they're like, good luck. Call us if you need anything. Yeah. And so, yeah, and then, like, we talk about it a lot when we talk about the prenatal care with the lactation consultant, because it just makes me so sad, because, like you, so many women, myself included, just assume that it's going to come naturally. You just put your nipple in their mouth and you go, and it just works. And that's just not always how it works. And so, you know, it just makes me sad to see moms reach out to those lactation consultants in a state of panic, because now they've got this baby has to eat every 2 hours, and you're doing everything you can, but it's not working. And so all these hours are going by. And especially as a first time mom, like, you go from zero to panic, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to feed my baby. Like, and if it's not working, then, like, it's just so, like, it takes a lot of confidence and determination and commitment to even consider pushing through breastfeeding when there, really at all, but especially when there are challenges. And so I think I'm, like, incredibly in awe of you, and just, like, so proud of how dedicated and committed you were. Miss Olivia, I'm gonna need you to cooperate, ma'am.
You be a handsy.
But yeah, because I do remember seeing you so early on too. Like, again, it's just, I'm just so proud of you, because, like, again, breastfeeding is not easy. And it's, I can't imagine, like, I mean, at 2:00 in the morning when my dog wants out, I'm cranky. So I can't imagine, like, trying to go through all of the hard stuff with breastfeeding, and not just, like, how do I make this easier? Like, I need something else.
I think it's a story from Roman history about somebody who burned boats. They went to invade somewhere, soldiers got scared or something, and are like, we can't defeat this army. And the guy in charge burned the boats, and he's like, well, we either defeat this army or we die. There is no going home. And I think for some reason I had that mentality. I was like, I am a little stubborn and hard-headed at times. I'm sure you've observed this as well. For me, I was like, if my body has the ability to make the milk, I want to give that to my baby. And this is a short-term discomfort. But I also think that I just didn't realize until, and it's the same thing with birth, like, you talk to other moms and you hear their birth stories. I can't tell you how many times I would hear someone else's birth story, and I'm like, that was it? Like, that's all it took? Like, oh, we really did have it hard. Like, that was really hard. Because, you know, you don't know until you know. And there were enough things that I feel like I just accepted, like, this is part of pregnancy. this is part of postpartum. This is part of motherhood. Like, I just accept this as part of the pain that comes with growth. And yeah, looking back, hindsight, talking to other people, especially with like lactation circle groups, and then realizing like, oh wait, you only had pain for a day or two? Like, I thought it was normal to have pain for like weeks or months. Okay. Like, okay, that was harder than I thought it was. But I think she definitely had more challenges than your average baby with multiple mouth ties and a high palate. So she has the high palate as well. And I know, child, pinchy. I know that was like another added challenge. And I feel like we discovered these things one at a time. Like, we knew at the birth when, they were doing the newborn exam, they're like, yeah, it looks like she has a lip tie, but it's flexible. Like, it's not completely restrictive. And then, we had another appointment with a chiropractor. I don't know, it was like a week later, and she was like, yeah, she might have a tongue tie, and like, she's got tension in her cheeks, but it was a hard birth. So there could still be tension in her body. Like, this might not be a tie. This could still be residual tension from what she had to go through during birth to be here. And then we went to the Love to Mama workshop, and she was actually the model baby for one of the chiropractors that was there. And I had been like suspective of the high palate just from videos that I was seeing online and things that I was researching and reading. And she was like, yeah, I think you're right. Like, I think your baby does have a high palate. Like, I think you do need like a full assessment. And so we kind of got things together piece by piece. And then it's like, okay, now you need to see a pediatric dentist. And I'm like, I'm taking my baby to a dentist and she has no teeth? Like, what? And so going through step by step and kind of getting a puzzle piece at a time made it feel like it was a little bit longer until we got to a pain-free nursing. Like, I feel like it was honestly probably between month 4 and 5 that we had continual painless latches. And each latch got better, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up doing chiropractic with someone who does craniosacral therapy. That helped a lot. We ended up seeing a total of 3 different lactation consultants. So 1 lactation consultant, 2 IBCLCs, and finding someone who specialized in oral ties and high palate, more like specialized cases, really helped. And she had so much knowledge and so much expertise and was able to give us good recommendations for like, hey, this is who I would trust with my child if I was in the shoes that you were in. And I know that we used Sylvia with flow-worthy lactation, as well as Jessica with the milk box, are the 2 that we've used long term. And it's been so helpful to have that established relationship and to trust their referrals as well. And we thought at one point in time that we were going to have to do revisions for Olivia, and we ended up not. And I'll be honest, I was really scared going into that appointment of, are you going to cut my baby's mouth? Like, do we need to? Do we have to? Like, I want to do what's best for her, but are we sure that this is what we have to do? Because it's a more recent thing and it almost feels like a fad. And I was really scared because I was like, we didn't hear about this 5 years ago, I feel like. Never heard of lip or tongue ties, and now everyone's getting them cut. And in my mind, I was like, there's a reason that God put that fascial connection there to some degree. There has to be a reason. And to find somebody who was like, hey, you can work this out through body work. You don't have to get the tie revised in your specific case was comforting, because I had someone that I'm like, you're not after my money. And you definitely feel that way sometimes, especially with a baby. There's all these tools and gadgets and things, and you need this pump and you need this special flange and you need this special nipple shield that shows your milk flowing through it so you know that it's there. There's just all these things that you get stressed on top of the rest of postpartum, that you're already stressed and hormonally frazzled. So it was really nice to have people, we want more, to walk alongside a very challenging time as a person, but also as a mother, and say, hey, I believe you're in pain. I believe, it was nice. I think it was pretty visibly apparent as well from going in, especially seeing Sylvia in the beginning. She was like, oh, sweetheart, this is not the way it's supposed to be. Like, let's help you have an enjoyable journey, which is what it's turned into. I love breastfeeding my little baby. And she loves it too. Yeah, it's your favorite thing.
Yeah.
And obviously pregnant and not ready to give it up, even though sometimes it's still a little uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that I'm really glad that we stuck with.
So, with all of the challenges and stuff that we just talked about, and even now facing another challenge, I'm curious, was there ever a point where you really did maybe consider giving up?
Did 6 months. She was 6 months. And it was right after we'd finally got to continual painless latching. To be honest, it was a mix of things. So she never took a bottle, never has taken a pacifier. And at the 6 month mark, I honestly felt trapped, I guess is the best term.
Mm-hmm.
To be frank,
Mm-hmm.
I felt trapped that I was chained to this precious baby that I worked hard for and I prayed hard for. And I love very much, but you know, when your baby doesn't take a bottle and you're exclusively breastfeeding, and we never did a schedule, so it was on demand. It's like, does she need me in an hour? Does she need me in 3 hours? Like, can I go and get a massage? Can I go and hang out with friends without the baby? Can I just go have a 2 hour nap by myself? And there was one point at 6 months. I remember actually sitting on this very couch, sitting up here, and I think my husband had her in her bedroom, and just the latch was painful. She was teething, she was biting, and I was like, that's it. I'm done. Like, she's going to figure out how to drink from a bottle because I can't take it anymore. And I actually got a good night's sleep that night. We had not been sleeping well. Sleep deprivation is the root of a lot of distension in postpartum.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And
Sure.
I woke up the next morning and like cried. I was like, how could I ever take that away from her? Like, I think a lot of the times that I felt like quitting or weaning her have been rooted in no sleep
Mm-hmm.
and have been rooted in something else. Like, it's not the actual breastfeeding. It's like, okay, we're going through teething or we're going through a developmental change. And maybe when she asks for milk, I need to ask if she'd like a drink instead. Like, we're adding in a cup. So like we're distinguishing maybe comfort from thirst. And there's been a few times that I've felt, I forget what it's called, but basically when you have a letdown and you get angry.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been a few times, but there's always been something else compounded. Like, I realized later, like, I haven't trimmed her fingernails, and this child is very handsy. And she loves to roll. She loves to play with her hands while she feeds, and she loves to roll the skin on my boobs like this between her fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And when she has long fingernails, it feels like just razor blades. And I got a lot of stretch marks in pregnancy. And I have a bunch of those on my boobs, and she loves to find the stretch marks and roll over those. And if you have stretch marks, which I think most of us as women do, that skin inside the stretch mark is so much more sensitive.
Yeah.
When you're rolling it. And it just, you know, no sleep, pinchy latch, heaving baby, pinching you in the most sensitive spot, really a few times has gotten me where like, I'm done. And I always wake up the next morning and I'm like, no, I'm not. No, it was just a bad night.
Yeah.
It's a bad night, not a bad life.
Yes.
And I think it's really important to never make any important decisions like that in the moment. And if possible, to eat and sleep, even if it's just a 2 hour nap by yourself, and then see how you feel. Like, you need to get some rest and you need to have some food and then really evaluate it and not make those decisions in like the heat of the moment where you're going to look back and be like, did I make the right choice? Am I sure that I should have done that? Like, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that really puts that whole phrase, sleep on it, into perspective. Like, always sleep on it before you make a big breastfeeding decision, because chances are you just need some sleep and everything will be better.
You just need some sleep and it'll magically be fixed.
Well, at least you'll have maybe a little bit more stamina to make it through the next day anyway.
Yes, that's true.
So, I'm guessing, eventually you figured out some ways to balance exclusively breastfeeding while also being able to be your own person. Have you reached kind of that place? Have you figured out like how long you can be away, or are the stretches just longer? Did she ever take a bottle, or does she still not take a bottle?
She, I think, has taken a bottle 5 times in her life, and they were all from other people. I think I got her to take one. And otherwise she took one from my mother-in-law once, and I think she took 2 from my sister-in-law. But I had to be in a different room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was not in the same room, but I was always there. Like, when they tried, like, I was in the house, but in another room where she couldn't see me, because if she could see me and she knew the boob was an option, she was not interested in the bottle.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I found ways to make breastfeeding more comfortable, like having breastfeeding clothes. Everything that I'm wearing right now is from Latched Mama, which is my personal favorite breastfeeding company, a breastfeeding clothing company, because a lot of their stuff is pregnant, like maternity and breastfeeding. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, it's 2 wardrobes in one, which is great now that we're pregnant again. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have to go out and like buy separate clothes. Like, I can wear my nursing clothes while I'm pregnant. This is amazing. But finding clothes that made it easy, that I also liked the way I looked in. Like, I remember getting an order of Latched Mama clothes and trying on a dress and literally crying in the bathroom because I was like, I can feed my baby in this, and I feel like me. Like, I feel like Alex, like a human again, and not just mom and frumpy clothes covered in spit up. It was emotional. But also, I remember in the beginning, like, asking people, like, I would be invited to stuff, and I'm like, well, hey, like, can I bring Olivia? And I'll be honest, I just stopped asking, and I just started showing up with my baby.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, at this point, like, she's an attachment of me, and this is who I am, and this is my stage of life, and there are definitely events and times that I had to leave early. Or I decided, you know what, like, I can't do this today. Like, this doesn't work today. And just being okay with being, mom Alex for right now, knowing that individual Alex is still going to have her time and place. But right now, like, my body is still for my baby because it's still nourishing and feeding her. And, this, for me, is a stage of life that I've prayed for and I've worked for, and not to rush it off too quick, because I'll look back one day and I'll miss this. I'll miss her wanting to nurse, and I'll miss the closeness and getting to admire all the little details of her. And so while it's definitely been frustrating at times, and I've cried so many times over feeling like I, didn't have my old life, I was like, but this is the life I wanted, and this is the life that I prayed for, and this is precious too, and the old life, Alex, will have her time again. One day she'll be old enough that I can drop her off, and she won't be breastfed, and she can eat whatever the grandparents want to feed her, and I'll have that time again. So I think keeping in perspective that it's a season, and for the friends who aren't willing to work with the fact that I have a baby, like, we just don't hang out right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's just life.
Yeah,
I
I feel like
people and friendships.
I feel like it should just be expected that when someone has a baby, that if you invite them, like, the baby just it's a package deal. Like,
Baby's
why?
gonna be
Like,
there.
I don't know. It seems obvious to me, but maybe I'm just biased. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like definitely giving yourself the tools, like having nursing clothes and having nursing covers that work well for you. Like, finding those things makes it easier for you to feel more confident going, knowing that, like, hey, I can feed my baby. Like, we did 4 trips before she was 4 months. And the first one, she was 6 weeks. And honestly, that was a pretty good trip. That trip was good for me, but also one of the times that I realized that I couldn't keep up with all my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little hard. But we went to, like, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, hosts the EAA AirVenture Air Show. It's the biggest air show in the world, and my husband's a pilot. We're an airplane family. And we had gone the year before, and I was like, we could totally do it with a baby. Like, there were people with babies there last year. And we'd already done a trip with her at 6 weeks. And I remember, like, we were meeting up with friends. It's a huge event. Huge.
Mm-hmm.
We were meeting up with friends, and we were going and doing stuff. And they're, like, very kind. They're like, oh, do you need to take a break and, like, feed the baby? And I was like, no, it's okay. I have the hip carrier. I have the nursing cover on. I can walk and feed. Like, life is not stopping. And there were some moments that I was like, I've
Alex.
got this figured out. She had it figured out. I was like, no, we're good. And I'll be honest, there are other days that you just mentally and emotionally can't do it. Um, but yeah, finding what works for you, and on the good days, have at it, live your life. And on the days that you're having a rough day, like, give yourself the time and space to have a rough day, and communicate to those who are close to you. Like, tell them, I'm having a rough day. Like, there are several times that my poor husband and the rest of the family had to, like, kind of figure out, like, she's a little cranky.
Mm-hmm.
Something else is going on.
Mm-hmm.
But just communicating and being open of, like, hey, today's a hard day for me. I can't necessarily explain why, but it's a hard day.
Mm-hmm.
I think is important. So, yeah, there are some
Yeah.
days that, like, it did not stop me. I still lived my life and did all the things and kept up with my friends. And then there were other days that I did not. And I just
Yeah.
needed to take some time and be like, I can't keep up with them. I'm sad about it. I'm going to cry about it. But this is also a precious time in life that I don't want to completely zoom by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like listening to you, I'm just like shocked because we started out this episode like talking about how hard the first like 4 to 5 months of breastfeeding were for you. I mean, you seeked so much support and worked so hard. And meanwhile, you took 4 trips before she was 4 months old. Like, didn't anybody teach you have to walk before you can run? Like, slow down, girl.
Good at that.
Like, like, and again, like, all that to say though, it just like goes to show like how amazing you are and how like, I guess, like, just relentless you were, because even with an incredibly hard first 4 months of breastfeeding, you still did all of these things. And so like you just like are amazing. I mean, again, because the easiest thing to do would have been to give up, especially if you were going to do all of those other things. Like, I could see if breastfeeding had been a breeze, no challenges whatsoever, and it did just come naturally to you, then yeah, I could see like, okay, you went and did all these things and you traveled and you went all these places and it worked out just fine. But just to think that you were doing all of those amazing things while also struggling incredibly hard to nurse is just crazy.
I think I'm a people person, and my favorite word is go. Like, my parents
Yeah.
have said that my whole life, and it's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Someone would say, we're going somewhere, and I'm like, cool, can I come?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we haven't told you where we're going. I was like, I don't care.
Doesn't
I
matter.
want to go.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it was important to still be able to go and do those things, even though, like, yeah, the latch wasn't, comfortable for part of those trips. I wanted to still feel included, and I still wanted to do the things that we had planned and not be like, oh, I can't do that, I have a baby. And there are some things that I was like, sorry, like, cannot do that with a baby. But there were some things that I was like, I might be a little bit slower, I might need to take more breaks. I might have to kind of change the way I do things because I have a baby to feed, but also having friends and family who did their best to support me and help find ways of like, okay, they couldn't feed the baby, but they could burp the baby, and they could change the diapers, and they could hold on to her while I did other things. There have definitely been quite a few times that like my husband has spent the day with her and just brought her to me for feedings so that I could have more time to do the things that I wanted to. And you see the popcorn. I'm sorry, you can't have that popcorn. That's mommy's pregnancy craving. That's the one thing you can't have. So sorry. But yeah, having a good support network who was understanding and supportive has been instrumental.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you shared so much good stuff. This has been amazing. I think that everything you shared is going to be so relatable. I don't think I asked you this, and so I figure we could just come full circle and go back to where we started. I wanted to ask, I know you didn't necessarily plan on nursing while pregnant, but that's the season you have found yourself in. And so I'm wondering, through this pregnancy, if you're considering what life could look like after baby, and if you would consider tandem nursing after baby comes, or if you are still nursing when baby's coming, if you're going to more actively wean, or if you're just going to go with the flow and see what happens.
I think we're going with the flow and see what happens. I've thought about it, and I was like, okay, do I want to try to wean her now and give myself a break between babes? Or do I just want to keep nursing and see, I know some moms have had babies that self-weaned themselves who were exclusively breastfed and just one day were like, no longer interested. So that might happen. At this point in time, I'm like, I just keep nursing and see where it goes because I should be through the most painful part. And if I can make it through the most painful part, I can still get some of those sweet moments. I'm willing to try tandem nursing. At the moment, she might not be willing to tandem nurse. She's like, excuse me, those my boobs. But it's something that I'm willing to try because I did not anticipate that I would be so emotionally attached to nursing. And it's something that I'm like, this is such a sweet connection time for me and her. And I know that there's going to be other ways for us to connect without breastfeeding, but it definitely is something that for now I'm like, you know what, let's keep going. And if we get to the point where we decide it's the best thing for me, the best thing for the baby in my belly, or the best thing for her, then we'll try something different. But I think tandem nursing is a challenge. I don't know that I know anyone personally who's done it, but actually my cousin's wife is due in September, and she might still be nursing her little girl. I should check in with her and see what her plan is as well. But it's something that I'm willing to entertain because I love the connection that it gives me and Olivia, and I love the benefits that it gives her. And I mean, if we've made it this far, we might as well keep going.
Yeah. I love that. I love the freedom of just going with the flow and being okay with whichever way the journey takes you. So just to wrap up, I'd love to ask if you just have like any words of wisdom you'd like to share or encouragement, just based on everything you've learned in the last 15 months. If someone was to ask you, like, for your best advice or, just piece of encouragement on their own breastfeeding journey, what would you tell her?
If you are trying to conceive or pregnant, look up and find the lactation consultants in your area. Follow them on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. And when the time comes when you're in that last trimester, please, please, please do a prenatal lactation consultation. It would have saved me a lot of stress, and it would have given me a lot more knowledge to know so much sooner that I needed help, which would have saved so much stress and emotional tension. Have more than one in your back pocket and text them and be like, hey, I would like to have you as part of my healthcare team. This is the primary lactation consultant that I would like to use, but if she or, if they're not available, I would like to have you in my back pocket as a backup. This is when I'm due. What's the best way to reach out to you after the baby is born if we need help? And just to go ahead and open the dialogue and have the communication and know how to reach out to them. I think it's also important that you don't compare your journey to other people's. You have to do what's good for you too. As a mom, if you need to stop breastfeeding for your mental health or your physical health, I don't think that you should feel guilty because you know of someone who breastfed their baby, through a pregnancy or whatever, and if they did it, I should be able to do it too. I think we live in a world with so much comparison, and it's really hard not to, but it's important to kind of stay in your own mindset of this is what my family needs right now, and I'm going to do what's best for me and my family, and to not worry about the opinion and judgment of others. Because, there's a ton of judgment out there, and I would hate for someone to think that, oh, well, I have to keep breastfeeding because I feel like that's what's expected of me as a woman or a mother, when for whatever reason, that's not what's best for you. And I just see that a lot in mom groups, of them feeling guilt for wanting to stop breastfeeding, and I just wish that wasn't a thought that they had to go through.
Mic drop, girlfriend. Right there with you. Perfect.
So there's some of us who push through, and there's some of us who choose not to, and I think that you should feel okay no matter what you choose. So, yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I am so grateful for you for sharing your journey and all of the ups and downs. And yeah, it's so good to see you and little
It's good to
little
see
Olivia.
you.
Hi, little munchkin. Thanks for sharing her with us. Hi.
Oh, of course. Thanks for letting her tag along. This is life.
And
And
happy
thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome and happy World Breastfeeding Week.
Happy World Breastfeeding Week to you too, friend.